What's going on, fish nerds? Welcome back. The other night I went to a new fish store I've never been to before, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Want to take you guys along, show you what I saw, so let's take a look. Alright guys, so here we go. This is World of Pets in Florence, Kentucky, and you come into the store and right away, right to your left, you've got some koi there. You know, it's that time of year. Everybody's interested in koi, getting ponds going, spring season. So you got that going on. You got the koi there. And you got some goldfish down here. Believe shabunkins. Yep, shabunkins. And then coming over here, we've got some convicts. We got some plecos. Some red devils, looks like, I think. Yep, red devils. And there was actually a big old giraffe catfish in here, which is pretty cool. Everybody loves a good giraffe catfish. Really neat, interesting fish. They just get really big, but they're a fun, big, derpy vacuum machine of a fish. Really, really neat to see. It's only the second time I've ever seen one of those in a fish store, so it was pretty cool to see him. Got a flower horn in there as well. And coming on down here, we got some Texas cichlids. I think there was a jewel cichlid in there. Yep, there's a jewel cichlid. And it said red pike, but that must have already been sold. I never saw the red pike in there. And then coming over here to the next rack, we've got some rainbow sharks. A whole bunch of them in there. And some bettas up here, and just kind of the standard little in-tank betta cups. Coming on down, got some diamond tetras. And there are some really neat things to see in this store. They've got a lot of the normal, usual stuff here too. Got some snails. And then coming on over here, this was something that I thought was really cool. You know, you got the tiger barbs here. Everybody knows and loves tiger barbs. But these clams, they had regular freshwater clams, and they had these shark tooth clams. These things were as big as my palm. These were really cool. These are filter feeders, but these aren't something that you want to just buy and throw in an average tank and expect it to just keep your water clean. You are going to have to feed these. I mean, you figure that's a fish, really, the size of the palm of your hand. That thing's going to eat a lot, and when you feed those, you really have to feed them kind of like a bamboo shrimp. They're a filter feeder, so you're going to have to feed them a powder diet. Got guppies up here. There's some mixed guppies, some really pretty ones in there. But yeah, those clams, you would have to either throw them in a super filthy tank, or you would have to feed like a bunch of spirulina powder. Got some little frontosa babies in there, a couple more bettas. Coming over here, we got some more bettas, and we got some glass catfish. I love the glass catfish. I always have. I want to have some someday. I actually think that some of these would go really well in the 55-gallon with the lamb chop rasboras and the betta. I think that would be a really great matchup to put in that tank. You couldn't really see them that well. The camera didn't want to focus with all those micro bubbles in the tank. But there's a cool crown tail betta, that creamish yellowish color. Got some neon tetras down here, and a very bright white crawfish there. The guy was so bright, the threw the white balance off the camera, or the exposure or whatever. It didn't exactly work out on him too well. Got some little bichers, bashirs, bikers. Polypterus is what I'm going to go with. Got some Polypterus in here. Guys weren't acting too active, just kind of hiding in the corners a little bit. One hiding under that plant there. And we got a little ram up here with a bunch of mollies. Most people really like mollies. You got some black ones here. There's some Dalmatian mollies a little later on in the video. Some Corys in there with them. And got some blue-eye lemon bristlenose, some Celebes rainbows. I really like the Celebes rainbows. They got those bright blue eyes, really pretty fish. Very nice. I'm thinking something along those lines. A pseudomcgill or something would be really nice at 20 tall with the exclamation point rasboras. We got some telescope eye goldfish down here. Telescope eye might be one of my favorite to goldfish. They're just derpy enough looking to be kind of neat. I like them. Got some albino cories, some gold barbs in here. Mat of what looks like a dwarf chain sword maybe there. Some crypts. Whole lot going on in that tank other than the cories. And then we've got over here, it's like some platies, I guess, or those might be swordtails. Might be some swordtails. Yep, red swordtails. Up here we got some. There's a vampire. I never did find the vampire pleco in here. Got a pandagara. Everybody pandagara. Those are pretty popular these days. I wouldn't mind some myself. I kind of think we need to set up a riverine system. Get a fast flow tank. Get some pandagaras in there. Some other fast water species. Got some serpae tetras. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not a fan of serpae tetras just because they're little jerks. They are super nippy, even with each other. Got some nearite snails in there. Some little dwarf orange crayfish. Got the green tiger barbs in here. And got a big blue crayfish, or as most pet stores will call blue lobster or electric blue lobster. It's a crayfish. Got that in there. I really like the green tiger barbs. I think I like the green tiger barbs better than the regular tiger barbs. Got some loaches down here. Some big dojo loaches. Well, they aren't big, but dojo loaches, they can get kind of big. And got some red-tailed black sharks. These have always, ever since I got my first aquarium when I was a little kid, the red-tailed black sharks have been one of my favorite fish. And got some more glass cats up here. You can see these guys a little better without all the little micro bubbles. Got some cory cats in here. Wisteria. Said black ghost knife. I never saw a black ghost knife, but you got some African bush fish up here. Or, not bush fish, butterfly fish. African butterfly. I don't know what I was trying to focus on there. A little platy. And coming on over to the next rack. Got some platies over here, twin bar platies. If I remember right, most of this rack was more kind of your community species. And then the last rack we get to has a lot more of the had them listed as. Some cherry barbs, some Siamese algae eaters. Kind of your standard fare. A couple of fish that everybody either loves or everybody hates. I've not met too many people that are kind of on either cherry barbs or Siamese algae eaters. We got some, I don't remember, they called these like reticulated flying foxes, I think is what they had written on the glass for those. Got some fiddler crabs, some red claw crabs. I am a fan of fiddler crabs. I have enjoyed those ever since I was a kid. I was probably, like 12 years old first time I got those. First time I got fiddler crabs, they marketed them to me as completely underwater crabs that never needed to come up for air and breathe, which is incorrect. They do need to get up on land in order to breathe. Not that they can't breathe underwater, but they do need to get up and kind of let their, I don't want to call it gills, but their breathing apparatus kind of dry out a little bit, get a little more moist. They breathe better when they're wet and out of land or out of water than they do to just stay underwater all the time. Got some goldfish there. Maybe that's a separate video. I'll talk about my fiddler crab experiences in the past. I wouldn't mind keeping fiddler crabs again. Got some balloon mollies here. Some kind of Ludwigia in there with them. Autocinclus in there, some more mollies. Moving on, we got some glowfish. No fish store is complete without a few glowfish because everybody wants them. Love them or hate them, whatever you feel. You know, they are what they are. Got some more glowfish, this time in the tiger barb variety. Moving on up, what we got up here. Got some zebra fish, some zebra danios, some black neon tetras. I don't know what this guy here was, but he was cool looking. Kind of liked him. Alright, let's move on. We got some black skirt tetras. Don't see anything else on there. I think they had some things mislabeled. They had tiger shovel nose on that tank, and that's not what was in there. Shrimp tank, got crystal shrimp, some blue shrimp. I don't remember. They had some special names for their shrimp varieties on there. We got some crayfish down here. Moving on up, got some pea puffers. Everybody loves the pea puffers. I'm a fan of pea puffers. If you watched my latest video before this one, you will think that I don't like pea puffers. I do like pea puffers, and I have successfully kept them since the horror story that I told in my last video, so nobody get the wrong impression. I do like pea puffers. And I got some Matei Cory cats. I really like these guys. And I think this might be the first time I've seen Mateis in a fish store. I've seen them at auctions, that kind of thing, but first time I've seen them in a fish store. I really like the Matei Corys. They got a nice look to them. A little bit similar to like a bigger panda Cory. And got a little goby over here. That guy was kind of cool. The night goby, I think. Got goldfish down here. Pearl scale goldfish. Got some more dwarf gouramis, the blue variety this time. I've always liked the blue dwarf gouramis. I've always thought these are super, super pretty. I just love that cobalt blue color. Very pretty fish. And these guys, the rabbit snails over here, these guys were a good size, and I love the color of these orange rabbit snails. The camera did not pick up that orange color and do it justice. And we got some more Mexican orange crayfish in here, the dwarf crayfish. But those rabbit snails were super sharp looking. I was very tempted to get some of those. I almost bought some, but I held back. Got some bloodfin tetras in there with them too. Bloodfin tetras, I think, are an underrated fish, by the way. Very underrated. Got some Burchardi in there. Some black coolie loaches. I enjoy black coolie loaches. They freak my sister out. The first time I bought some and put them in my tank back when I was a teenager living at home, it freaked her out, and she wouldn't go in my bedroom for a long time after that because she was scared of them. Got some German blue rams, some gold rams in here. Everybody loves rams. I love rams. I wouldn't mind setting up a ram tank someday in the future. I might do that. I ought to do that. Alright, and now down here, this guy is really cool. Got an African lungfish. I really like lungfish. I think these guys are super neat. They're unique looking. They've got a really cool look, and they work those little appendages like arms and legs really neat. And they're just derpy looking enough to be cute. I mean, honestly, they're an ugly fish, but they're cool looking enough, and that derpiness is kind of cute if you ask me. I think it's cool. Got some albino paradise fish. It's a little bit of a different find around here in a pet store, at least in my experience. Either that or I've just never paid attention to them, but I thought it was a unique find. Got some tadpoles. I'm assuming bullfrog tadpoles. Spiny nose eel. I never saw that in there. It was written on the tank, but I didn't see it. Got a couple of red crayfish in here. Nothing too exciting, just a couple of crayfish. And Buenos Aires tetras and assassin snails down here. I think the Buenos Aires tetra is a very pretty tetra. Very pretty. I like the way their tails look. And got some orange and white swordtails. These called them Santa Claus swordtails. I am angry with society that nobody calls these creamsicle swordtails. Nobody does. I think that's what they should be called. These guys, though, these king tetras is what was written on the glass. I tried looking them up. I couldn't really hardly find anything. But these tetras were super cool looking. I loved these guys. They were basically black, but they almost kind of looked a little purple in real life. Like, in camera, they just look black and gray. And they got some Julii cories in there. But in person, they had this purplish look that I just thought was super cool, super neat. And they only had 5 of them, but these guys really tempted me as well. If they'd had enough for me to get a decent school, I would have gone ahead and bought some and brought them home and set up a quarantine tank. But they only had 5, so that helped me to restrain myself. Got some Pristella tetras in here. And this guy was super neat, the pleco back here. If I'm recalling correctly, I think they had this as a spotted bristlenose. Yeah, big spot and citrus is what they had written for that. I'd never heard of a big spot and citrus before, but that's what they had. So got some black neons in here and some African dwarf frogs. I really like the African dwarf frogs as well. That's something you see a lot. They're common, but I think they're super underrated. I would love to have just a bunch of dwarf frogs in a 10-gallon someday. And these jumbo cardinal tetras were super nice. They were probably the biggest cardinal tetras I've ever seen for sale in a store. And the red showed up really well in person. They had a bunch of color compared to what I usually see in fish stores. Usually the cardinal tetras don't look too hot in the store. And then you get them home and get them acclimated and have them for a while. They get comfortable. They color up. But these guys were big, fat, and they looked good in my opinion. Got some Bolivian rams up here. I love Bolivian rams too. I think they're underrated as well. And then you got this really nice green phantom tetra. Green phantom's one of my... I shouldn't say one of my favorite plecos. Most plecos are one of my favorite plecos, so I shouldn't say that, but I like green phantom plecos. I do. And coming over here, we got some mollies. I guess the gold dust molly is, I guess, what this color is usually called. But everybody likes the mollies. Got some more tetras down here. Another red-tailed shark in there. Red-tailed black shark. Got some silver mollies over here. Now or at least they called them silver mollies. I would call this a Dalmatian molly because they got all these black specks on them. To me, a silver molly is just straight, like platinum looking. And some sailfin mollies in there. And what do we got in here? Some longfin rosy barbs. Got another one of the green tiger barbs in there with them. And these were some nice looking angelfish. I really liked these guys. The angelfish were looking good. I really like that marbly look on these angelfish. They're really nice. And they got the Sultan pleco in here. The Sultan pleco, I will say, is one of my all-time favorite plecos. I love, 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 love Sultan plecos. And I intend fully to have one in the near future. That is a must get, must keep fish for me. I love the Sultan pleco. Got some parrotfish up here. Those look to me to be glowfish, parrotfish. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but you got the blues, the pinks. I mean, okay. And over here in this tank, you just got a bunch of loaches. Got yo-yo loaches, red-tailed zipper loaches. What this guy here is, I thought those were pretty cool. First time I'd seen those in a store. Got some skunk loaches in there with them too, but I thought the zipper loaches were pretty neat. I also just kind of like the name, zipper loach. Some pearl gouramis down here, some opaline gouramis. Got some barbs in there as well. Got a mascara barb. And some val in there with them. I think pearl gouramis are really pretty fish too. But that's probably not a controversial statement. I'm pretty sure most everybody thinks pearl gouramis are pretty. Got a flower horn there. I'm not sure on grading flower horns. That's not my scene, so I can grade this fish. But I thought it was pretty. But I think that of most flower horns, honestly. Got a nice discus here. I love discus as well. I'm going to say this about several different fish and basically any fish store tour that I do. I want a tank of discus. I want a tank of this, a tank of that. There's a lot of things I want a tank of, but discus is definitely on the list. And coming over here, we got some clown loaches, got some pictus cats. Kind of standard fare there. Coming on down. These guys, I don't think it comes across in the video. These were a good 6 inches. These were not small peacock bass. These were some good sized brutes here. You see peacock bass for sale at fish stores all the time. Usually they're an inch or two. They're still really small. These guys were a good 6 inches. They looked like they were going to be tank buster fish. They didn't look like, oh, look at this cute little baby fish. They looked like, oh snap, that's going to eat everything I have, and it's probably going to get huge. But these guys are really cool. I love peacock bass. I will probably never own peacock bass because I'll probably never be able to afford a tank big enough for peacock bass. At least not a nice tank like I would like to have to display them, but I really like them. Got some Oscars in here. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the way some of these Oscars look almost entirely black with just a little bit of squiggle on them. Pretty cool. Got some kissing gouramis and some gold gouramis up here. Some more standard fare. And some mixed African cichlids. I'm not going to guess what all's in there. I'm just going to say it's mixed. Because to me that looks like a mix of different things. And you guys know I am not an African cichlid aficionado. I like them. I enjoy them. I would like to have a tank that looks like that someday. But I don't know my African cichlids the way I would like to. Got some plecos down there. Some Bala sharks. Kind of more standard fare for most of your local fish stores. Everybody's got Bala sharks. But this place has an alligator. Check this guy out. Nah, he's not real. But I'm not going to lie. When I first started walking up to this tank, when I was walking through the store, it did fake me out for a second when I saw that there. We got some Severums in there with the fake alligator. I love Severums too, by the way. And I do fully intend, I have made plans for a tank to have Severums. So that is in the works. Well, it's not in the works, it's in the planning stages, but wait for it, it'll happen eventually. Got some cichlids in there. Got a big old parrotfish, King Kong parrot, I guess, and a jardini arowana in there. That's one you don't always see. Most places have a silver arowana. They actually had a jardini. Got a fire eel up there hanging out, trying to hide around the heater. Fire eels are pretty cool, but another fish I'll probably never keep, even though I think they're pretty cool. Some striped Raphael cats in there. Got some Bosemani rainbows, a few Synodontis in there, and of course a beautiful, beautiful pleco. Love me some plecos. And this chubby bristlenose that they had, that is aptly named. I'm trying to get here a good angle that actually shows just how chubby this guy is. I mean, he was wide. I mean, he wasn't necessarily any longer than any adult bristlenose pleco that I've seen, but he was a good 150% wider from the top than a regular bristlenose pleco. So he was pretty neat. Got some more angelfish, some more platinum looking, and some standard striped angelfish as opposed to the marbles that were in the other tank. And you guys know I love me some angelfish, 100%. And got some smaller peacocks over here, some monoculus. These guys were bigger than what I usually see, but much, much smaller than the guys in the other tank. Those would have been an easy snack. And you got some Lima shovel nose, a couple of those hanging out in this tank as well. I like Lima shovel nose. They're just kind of long, skinny like that. Which I realize they get a good, you know what, I think it's like 20 inches, something like that, just off the top of my head. And got some chocolate cichlids up here. This is the first time I've ever seen chocolate cichlids in a fish store. And I was talking to the guy, he said they have these in stock pretty much all the time. Now, looking at these small like this, you know, an inch or two long, they don't look that impressive. But chocolate cichlids are another one that I think are very underrated. They look way better in person, in my opinion, than they did, or as adults, than they do as juveniles. Got a blue phantom pleco in there. Everybody loves a blue phantom, or at least you should, because it's another one of my favorites. And got an African clown knife here. This guy was decent size. He was probably about 8 to 10 inches long. He wasn't little by any means. I've never liked the Asian clownfish. I mean, hate me for that if you want to, but ever since I was like 4 and I saw one at a zoo, I didn't like it. I thought it was ugly. I thought it was stupid looking. And ever since I was a little kid, I have never, ever, ever liked African clown knives. Sorry. Oh well. But we got some red hooks in here. And these convicts, I'm trying to remember, I'm hoping it shows it again here. The polar blue convicts. I've never heard of a polar blue convict, but these guys were cool looking. I don't know what they look like as adults. They kind of look a little balloony to me. I don't know if that's on purpose or what's going on there, but I thought they were neat looking. But maybe that was just me. I thought they were cool. And coming over here, you got your gold nugget. Gotta love a gold nugget pleco. Everybody, you gotta love a gold nugget pleco, people. I mean, look at him. Honestly, he wasn't showing great color. I think he might have been a little bit stressed out because there wasn't any cover there for him. It was just a totally open tank like that. I think he would have appreciated a rock or a piece of wood to get under and hide. But love a gold nugget. That's another one that is on my soon to buy list. But the Amazon tiger cat, this guy here, check him out. That guy is cool looking. Now he's gonna get a couple feet long, you know, so that's a monster fish there. But the patterns on that guy are sweet. I really liked him. We got some more African cichlids down here, some peacocks. I do recognize peacocks on sight. I did not have to look at the writing on the tank to know that one. And then you got some ghost shrimp. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification icon so that you don't miss next week's video. You guys are awesome. God bless you, fish nerds. I'll see you next time.